Holthouse, Carlin and Van Trite is the largest CPA firm headquartered in Southern California and has been consistently recognised as one of the top 100 CPA firms in the nation, as well as the fastest growing CPA firm in the region. Blake Christian is a partner with Holthouse, Carlin and Van Trite. And Blake, great to see you again.
Very nice to see you again, Mike.
So how's the credit crisis affecting Southern California?
Well, it certainly has slowed the economy as it has in many other parts of the country. We are just slowly getting back on our feet as far as the credit liquidity, and the banks, while they do have liquidity in-house, they're a bit hesitant to make loans right at the moment, but they are evaluating their better customers and are still funding their projects. But certainly for the businesses that are struggling a bit, they are getting calls, and in some cases their interest rates are going up, their lines of credits are going down. The terms are getting a little tighter, certainly.
Are the impacts of the crisis still working through the local economies?
I think most business people are, have certainly turned a bit conservative with what they're hearing on the news, and so they might be shelving some of their expansion plans. But it's also forcing them just to focus on their core businesses and look at cost reductions and other ways to generate revenue. So I think in the long run, it's going to be a positive that they're going to come out of this stronger because they're going to be more efficient.
When do you expect the credit conditions to ease?
That's a tough crystal ball to look through, but I think the Feds have done a good job of at least allaying fears for the moment. But as we've seen, it's going to take a little while for the banks and other lenders to get comfortable getting back to the levels of lending that they were. So I think we're going to be struggling a bit through at least mid 2009.
What's the economic outlook for the next 12 months?
Again, I think you're going to see businesses hunkering down, focusing on their core attributes, and probably not a whole lot of expansion and things. What we're telling our clients is that it's good to focus on ways to cut costs and things, but also it's a time to get out there a little bit more on the advertising and promotion, practice development front, because a lot of companies are just completely in the hunker down mode, and so those businesses that take the extra step of being out there in the marketplace and promoting their goods and services are going to have a higher visibility than they would have maybe 6 months ago.
The government responded to the crisis, so what were some of the main elements of the rescue package?
It's changed a few times since they have originally announced it, and originally they were going to buy the troubled, toxic portfolios, the mortgage-backed securities that were causing a lot of the problem, which would have shored up the balance sheets of the lending institutions. That has kind of evolved into more of a preferred stock investment in these banks, and from what we've seen, they've focused now more on taking some of that $700 million, at least a piece of it, and started putting it out in regional formats so that some of the local headquartered banks have received cash infusions. And then the idea is that they will take that money, start lending it, and then also taking some of that money and buying other financial institutions to shore them up. That's the good news. The bad news is the $700 billion, as large as that is not going to be enough to save every bank. And so I think we will see some more banks. There's only been 17 that have failed on a national basis, but I think we're going to see more of those fail, unfortunately, in the next 6 months.
How will those measures then affect various businesses or sections of the economy?
It permeates the whole every industry really, because whether you're in, obviously real estate is probably hardest hit, just commercial, residential lending, home builders, those those companies have been pretty decimated as a result of all this and the credit contraction. But even the well-run manufacturers, distributors that may be in a good industry overall and have good fundamentals, they are seeing this tightening of the money flow, and just consumer spending is obviously down. It's going to be a tough holiday season, I think. But we saw some of this even before the credit implosion. There was definitely less activity in the ports, a lot less imports for the holiday season. So there was already some of that contraction going on.
What advice would you give individuals and businesses affected?
Well, on the individual side, I think, again, you have a lot of 401k money, you have a lot of taxable investment accounts, and people have taken a very serious hit. It's about 35% on average down the market year to date, and so that there's still a lot of volatility. For those without real high net worths, they should play it safe. A lot of friends and business associates are just letting their money ride. They've taken these big hits and they're saying, well, history shows us that it's going to come back. I think they really need to evaluate their portfolio, get professional help, have a couple of people look at their portfolios, and maybe reduce their exposure to equities. Also, the bond market, everybody still feels that's relatively safe, but over time you could see some of the bonds have some trouble getting paid off.
If somebody wants to contact your office, how do they do that, Blake?
Our firm website, Holthouse, Carlin & Van Trite, is www.hcvt.com, and our Long Beach office number is 562-590-9535.
Blake, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.